All right, y'all. What's going on? The Boston Source here checking in, and once again, we have a great guest with us.
Hold on a second. Hold on a
You
second.
know,
We're not.
all right.
You're not doing this live, are you?
With this,
You're not doing
yeah,
this live,
yeah,
are you? No. You are doing it live?
mm-hmm,
Are you serious?
yeah,
We're live now?
yeah. We're live now.
On where?
Oh, this the YouTube thing.
Oh, we're live on YouTube now?
Yep.
Oh my god. Wow. All right. So 1 second. So,
Yeah, no problem.
oh, we're live. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I had to do this thing here on here, man. Check it on the YouTube thing. But yeah, we got of course, a great guest, Dmitriy Salita, on here for a little bit. See if he'll check in. But we're just gonna have just a brief see if I'll give you a brief second here real quick, and then I'll
I'm
jump back in.
coming on. Coming on. 1 second. Oh, I didn't
All
realize
right,
we were
yeah, no
live.
problem.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, hold on just a moment. Yeah, real quick, shout out to Elder Boxing joining us here in the conversations here. But very thankful to have Dmitriy Salita join us here on the Boxing Source once again. Here, I know that he has been busy over the past couple of days, and there's been a number of news tidbits that Dmitriy Salita has been a part of, or pretty much has somewhat of a hand in. So we wanted
What's
to
going on, guys?
get
You all
to him
right?
with.
Live.
Yeah, man, we're all good.
Live is always tough, but I got it.
Yeah, yeah, not a problem, not a problem. But very thankful for you, Demetrius Salita, to join us here on the Boxing Source once again. Of course, we've talked multiple times over the past 12 months or so. Of course, you give us the great updates of what's happening there with Salita Promotions, and so you wanted to reach out to us here to have us catch up once again. So, like I said, we had like a number of things that we're getting updates on. One of those things that I reached out to you about was having one of your heavyweight fighters on Salita Promotions potentially being an opponent for Anthony Joshua coming up on Saturday, as Dylan White has been taken out of that card due to an adverse finding through the beta test. So you said that you reached out to Matchroom. How did that go?
Well, Eddie told me that Otto Wallin is a southpaw, so he's not sure that Anthony Joshua is going to want to fight a southpaw on short notice. So that obviously is up to him. I do think that there may not be a lot of options available at this late hour that are world class, that are acceptable by the network and by the venue and by the boxing fans. I do know that that boxing card is filled with heavyweight fights. I'm not sure if one of them will sit by and let the other side fight, Anthony Joshua. But I certainly believe that Otto Wallin is a great option, as is Jarrell Miller. And it's my job to let Eddie and AJ know that they're available and they want to do it. And they're both high-level heavyweights that would obviously get a lot of interest. Anthony Joshua is really in a tough position because he's positioned himself to be the best heavyweight again, and he has to talk the talk, which he says, and also walk the walk. So we'll see, based on who he chooses to fight, whether how serious he is about his heavyweight comeback again.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, there are a number of fighters in the heavyweight division that are part of that card. They had added Derek Chisora versus Gerald Washington. You also have Philip Hergovich there against Dempsey McKean that was going to be part of this card, at the O2 Arena. And it would be very good to have someone like Otto Wallin being able to fly in and get in there to be an opponent for Anthony Joshua, or like a Jarrell Miller. I know that Jarrell Miller has been, talking about this nonstop since that news came down about Dylan White. So I know that he's chomping at the bit to try to get in there as an opponent too. But like I said, it's all about what Matchroom Boxing, Eddie Hearn, and Anthony Joshua decide as to who the opponent is going to be. Come Saturday.
Yeah. If you look at beyond the names, and Dillian Whyte is a big name that kind of, I guess, made sense in the UK, but he got blasted out by Tyson Fury, and then he had a very subpar performance against Jermaine Franklin, and many thought that he lost. So he was really coming in as the opponent. He still has a big name and a big personality, obviously. So that fight will generate some interest in the UK. It was billed as a pay-per-view. I'm not sure if it's still a pay-per-view or if it's just a regular, or if it just kind of got demoted to a regular championship boxing night. But if it is a pay-per-view, then certainly Otto or Jarrell, from a public interest point of view, and I would think from a network view as well, all makes sense and kind of check all the boxes and position Anthony Joshua in a significant fight. It shows that he's serious. If Anthony Joshua comes back and fights somebody like Otto, it would show that his mind is in the right place. His mind is in effect to be an elite heavyweight again. He lost to Usyk. Otto is also a southpaw who's world class. Gave Tyson Fury the toughest fight of his career. So that would mean that he's very serious. Otto is one of these guys that always stays in the gym. Obviously, he's not preparing for a fight, but he always stays in shape, always perfecting his craft. So although it's a big ask of him to kind of take on this fight, but he believes in himself and he really wants to do it. And Otto is a guy that wants to be world champion. He's not doing this for the money. He's doing it for legacy. And, he wants to follow in the footsteps of Ingemar Johansson, who was the other great Swedish heavyweight that upset the apple cart and gave Floyd Patterson all he could handle and beat him. So, Otto is living in New York City, training with Joey Gamache for several years now. And last I checked, before I got on this program, no opponent was selected. I reached out to Matchroom and with no response so far. So, obviously, the closer it gets, the more unlikely it is. But you never know. Things change and things happen in the drop of a dime. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens tomorrow morning.
Yeah, we'll see if we get an update on who the opponent for Anthony Joshua would be, by tomorrow morning or something like that. That would give a few days for that opponent to get acclimated to being out there in the UK if they're not there already, and see about having that fight against Anthony Joshua with high stakes on there. Of course, like you said, Anthony Joshua is attempted to try to get back on the top level of the heavyweight division and trying to stay as active as possible. This would be his second fight this year, and so depending on who the opponent is, it's going to be something for him to kind of like get adjusted and everything like that. And having someone like an Otto Wallin or Jarrell Miller, that would definitely be a big challenge for him, especially given that it would only be a few days for him to prepare for an opponent like either one of those guys.
Yeah, but by the same token, those guys were not scheduled to be on the card. Their training schedule is more relaxed, so they're not fully prepared. And for them to step up and say, I would fight this top 3, top 5 heavyweight, shows where their mind is at and how good they want to be. So, boxing is about the fans, and I think that it would make the fans interested, and it would make the fans give Anthony Joshua his respect, regardless of what happens inside the ring, win or lose. But fighting a significant, real fighter would certainly, obviously improve his chances of regaining that world-class respect in the boxing community. I don't know if the fight with Deontay Wilder, people talk about it, but we haven't heard of a date, we haven't heard of a network, we haven't heard of more of the details. I don't know if it's signed or not. I don't know if Deontay Wilder is supposed to fight in September or October, but this event on Saturday, who Anthony Joshua fights, would lead to a significant show of what he wants to do and where he wants to go.
Yeah, that's very true.
Eddie, after Anthony Joshua lost to Vladimir Usyk, Eddie and I spoke that same week, and Eddie wanted to fight Otto. He felt that he went to fight Otto in December. So it was December of last year when Joshua wanted to come back after losing to Usyk in August. So we had really good conversations for an extended period of time, and then the fight got pushed back, and we've had conversations all the way up to November about Otto fighting Joshua. So Joshua knows who he is. I think they fought each other as amateurs. Joshua served as a sparring partner for Anthony Joshua, so he knows who Otto is. And we'll see if he feels that he's good enough to fight him.
Yeah, they're definitely familiar with each other, like you said, from the amateur ranks and also in the professional ranks of, recently being out there, as far as like sparring partners and things like that for, both of those guys to get used to each other, get used to, fighting guys of, that particular size. So definitely, having Otto Wallin there, put in there as an opponent, that would, definitely be a great opportunity there for Otto Wallin to get back in it. And also on the flip side, with Anthony Joshua trying to get, more familiar or getting back in the ring and being more active there. But, also, like you said, you got other fighters there that could be open for the opportunity. Like you had Jarrell Miller there, of course. Jarrell Miller, definitely, says that he really wants to get Anthony Joshua. Has been waiting, ever since, the day of 2019. So, like I said, I live, sleep, eat Anthony Joshua.
Right? Yeah, man. No, some of those videos from that build-up, they're just incredible. I mean, there's like few fights that garner that kind of energy and that kind of excitement. Jarrell still has the drive and desire. I feel like that's a fight that has to happen at some point. Jarrell versus Anthony Joshua. No matter what they do, win or lose in a year from now, or if it's not this Saturday. And if Anthony Joshua fights Deontay Wilder, I feel like that's a fight that is of a lot of interest. Anthony Joshua has never really made a successful U.S. debut. He was supposed to make one against Jarrell, and Andy Ruiz derailed that. So it would be great to run it back.
Yeah, have that happen. In New York, of course, Jarrell Miller's there. They're from New York City or whatever. So it would definitely want to have that fight back for sure. Now, we'll be catching up with that. With the updates on what happens with Anthony Joshua and who he chooses there as an opponent. But also wanted to catch up on a couple of things here with Salita Promotions. I know that in our last conversation, we talked about Matias-Ergashev as far as like him potentially being an opponent for the IBF super lightweight champion Subriel Matias. So how has those negotiations been going, or is there an update on that?
There's been some negotiations, but there's no real update. I mean, the purse bid is the 15th of August, and we registered for the bid, and we'll bid if we're not able to reach a deal before then. Ergashev is in Miami training with Sugar Hill Stewart and Trayvon Chambers. Sugar Hill Stewart, boxing fans know, is a trainer of Tyson Fury. And Trayvon Chambers has been around for a long time, a very good trainer, works very closely with Sugar Hill for decades now. But he was in Jake Paul's corner this weekend. And, before the fight, one of the reasons why I feel that Jake Paul is taking boxing seriously is because he hired Trayvon, known as Third. And Third is a no-nonsense, good boxing teacher. And we saw some of these improvements in his last fight versus Nate Diaz. But, so Ergashev is in camp with those guys, and he's working and getting ready to rumble.
Yep, and like you said, with the upcoming purse bid that's scheduled for next week, we'll definitely get an update as to what happens there with that purse bid and when that particular fight will be set up and have a date on that. And we also had news quickly with Claressa Shields, of course, had won her last fight there in Detroit, and now it seems like there are a couple of things that could be or potentially in the works there for Claressa Shields. On one side would be an exhibition, but the other one is like a fight that seems to have been kind of brewing for the past couple of years. So I wanted to touch on that first. There's of course a young fighter that's been coming up in the ranks that's undefeated right now in that super middleweight division, Shadasia Green. And it looks like they have been going at it back and forth on social media over the past few days. But this is, something that's been, kind of like a rivalry ever since they've been there in the amateurs. So what do you know about that as far as like Claressa having an interest to fight Shadasia Green in the near future?
It's not. I wouldn't say it's a rivalry. I feel like they had a good relationship when they were amateurs, and then Shadasia Green went to be a sparring partner for Christina Hammer when Claressa was getting ready to fight her, and I think that ruptured that friendship. So Claressa is a middleweight. Shadasia Green is a super middleweight. She's the mandatory today. I believe she was named the mandatory to fight Savannah Marshall. She's still is not proven enough. She's known because she signed to Jake Paul, but I believe that she needs some more exposure, more notoriety, and at some point maybe this is a fight that makes sense and that'll happen, but not at this point. She needs to get a title. She needs to fight Savannah Marshall maybe as her mandatory, and if she beats Savannah, then obviously that's a fight that could make sense.
Yep. Like you said, Shadasia Green is a mandatory challenger for one of Savannah Marshall's titles there, super middleweight. So that is definitely a fight that could happen in the near future. I also know that Shadasia Green was talking about potentially fighting the former champion Franchon Cruz-Dezurn as well there in the super middleweight division. So maybe if she has those fights with those two, and then after that,
sure.
be there against Claressa Shields.
Yeah, those two fights would show that those two fights, and those are two tough fights. We don't know if she's going to win or not, because that's a really next level of competition for her, and we'll see what happens from there on forth. And hopefully she keeps increasing her profile, and the fight becomes interesting to boxing fans. It's great for boxing altogether, but certainly for women's boxing to have rivalries. And Claressa, has been very good at making those happen and making the most of them. And that, women's boxing is still at its birth stages in a way. So, it's very important that interesting fights and competitive fights happen. So we'll see kind of what's out there and what makes sense. But Shadasia should keep on winning and keep on doing what she's doing, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, most definitely, and we'll see, how that materializes over the next few months on that side. But on the other side, there with Claressa Shields, this recently happened, over the past week or so ago, that she kind of like went at former unified champion at welterweight Keith one-time Thurman, and that you're seeing if they could have some type of a fight or anything like that. It looked like Keith Thurman had agreed somewhat to an exhibition there with Claressa Shields. So I don't know if anything has materialized for that quite yet, but do you have any information on maybe getting something put together for that to happen?
I don't. I have no information on that.
Gotcha. So that was just something that was thrown out there over the past couple of weeks or so. So
I have no idea. I have no idea how it started or why it started. Claressa does deserve to be on the pound for pound list of male and female fighters, but she is the GOAT, the greatest woman of all time, and she's going to be walking down the path of beating the best champions and contenders in women's boxing. And the conversation with Keith Thurman, I've obviously seen them happen on social media, but I really don't know what the source of it is, why it started, and what it is. To me, it's just him and her having fun. So
just back and forth talk, basically.
Yeah.
That's it. So here, like with anything, that's left out there as far as like updates for Salita Promotions here, as you only had like a few minutes to jump in with us. So you can give us any updates on other fighters or big fights that are coming up for fighters within Salita Promotions.
Devell Smith, the middleweight prospect from the Crown Boxing Gym in Detroit, is fighting tomorrow just a stay busy fight, and hopefully he'll be successful. And I think that he's going to be a big star in the middleweight division, and working on some other significant things. And hopefully we'll be in the UK tomorrow for for Anthony Joshua fighting one of our guys.
Yep, gotcha. So yeah, we're definitely gonna see there if we get any updates on if one of your fighters there, Otto Wallin or Jarrell Miller, is the one that they choose for the opponent for Anthony Joshua on their upcoming fight card. That's Saturday, and like you said, we got to see if they're gonna have the fight still on pay-per-view over there in the UK, or if it's just going to be on the zone. But like you said, if you're able to get that call and they say, hey, bring one of your guys up, you'll be like, hey, all right, let's go. We can do it. Let's make it happen. So definitely want to see if that comes up here, in the next few hours or so, whatever it is. So we're definitely gonna, keep our eye out for any updates on that. And for those that don't know, we have the Salita Promotions website. The new design is up and everything like that. And so y'all be sure to check that out. Salita Promotions, on their website, and they have all the information for their fighters. I had like one person shout out to Boog Williams at LW Boxing. He asked if Raquel Miller is a realistic opponent for Claressa Shields in the fall.
Yeah, I think Raquel Miller, haven't heard of her in a little bit, but she's a good fighter. Yeah, I think that she could fall into a fight sometime down the line. I don't know the exact timeline of when it would be, but Raquel is a very good fighter, and she could talk. So I think that sometime down the line it's a possibility, for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know that Raquel Miller has been a little bit more active in the ring here over the past few months or so. Just gotta see or pinpoint if she's gonna be there in the super middleweight division, and what else she's gonna be doing there at super middleweight before a potential fight there with Claressa Shields. And hey, brother Terrell jump in here late in reference to the that little thing we were talking about with Shields and Thurman, but he's like Dmitriy Salita said, he knows nothing about that, so we can't really talk much more on that. And also, Boog Williams asked about Vladimir Shishkin if he will be fighting William Skull for that IBF interim championship that we mentioned earlier a few weeks ago.
So it's an ongoing situation. Canelo obviously is a super middleweight champion. He's fighting Charlo, who's also the undisputed champion. So that's why that belt is a bit on hold. We're seeing what the IBF is going to do in regards to that and what position they're going to take. But certainly it's a great fight and something that we'd love to happen. And Vladimir Shishkin, I believe, is one of the best super middleweights in the world. And once he gets his ability to shine on the big stage, as he did against Jose Oscaragi in his last fight on Showtime in December, he will shine bright and impressively. So we definitely want to see something happen in the near future.
Yeah, no doubt. So that's the latest there from Dmitriy Salita, Salita Promotions. Like I said, y'all will be able to check out the website. Definitely updated. It looks great and all of that. And you also have, of course, the YouTube page there, Salita Promotions, where you'll be able to catch anything there as far as like fights or any news there dealing with Salita Promotions.
And social media. And I urge boxing fans to sign up to our social media, to Instagram and Twitter. Dmitry_Salita is my personal page, and Salita Promotions is the company page, both on Instagram and Twitter. And certainly look forward to communicating with the boxing fans, and I really love it. So it's great to come on with you, and we'll check in next week.
Yeah, I know that I think LW had one more question, but I think it's on Arslanbek Idigov. But with that, we'll close off on that. So anything quick on Idigov or Idigov? Arslanbek Idigov.
Oh, Arslanbek Idigov. So
yeah.
he had some issues getting into the country. He's in the United States, and we're working on something for him. We'll know also in the near future. We'd love for him to fight Edgar Berlanga. That's a fight that we've been working on and trying to make. And I've spoken with Keith Conley, his manager, about this possibility. So we'll see what happens.
Gotcha. Once again, I thank Dmitriy Salita for joining us here on the Boxing Source. As always, he's definitely been a great person that has been keeping in touch with the Boxing Source, and definitely will be hearing more from Dmitriy Salita here in the future.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, and thank you for for another platform to let boxing fans know what's going on.
Yeah, not a problem. All right. Peace out.
Take care, man. Thanks, man. Okay, bye-bye.